Welcome back, guys. We've got a quick channel update before we get to the news, before the main topic. Because yesterday, something terrible happened. In the comment section of my own video, I saw people laughing at me, making fun of my pronunciation of the word inclusivity. Well, at least I hope I'm saying
I mean, he says it weird, but it's not that bad.
it right now, and thanks, I guess, for the correction. Not sure how I can ever repay you guys, but you have my thanks. Now, on to the main topic. So, do you remember that situation I talked about the other day with that DEI defending influencer who also like worked at Xbox or something?
Yep, this one. Oh my god. She really dug her own grave.
Then, well, we've got a very amusing update on that situation. Also, quick side note. It turns out Asmongold reacted to that video. That was pretty cool. Glad he enjoyed that one. So really quick, this was the context. She made this thread all upset about the discourse. The discourse being gamers criticizing companies in gaming and also criticizing DI consultation companies. All of that being something that, once again, she seems very upset about in my...
Just as a side note, chat. She says DI consulting companies don't bully studios into changing creative direction. No, you're right. They not only bully studios into changing creative direction, they become the creative direction by writing dog shit stories for them. But yeah, sure.
All of that being something that, once again, she seems very upset about. In my coverage, I gave a reasonable response and provided evidence as to why a number of her points are just wrong. The rest of her thread was her devolving into just a barrage of insult attempts that completely flopped because it really just made her look extremely petty, and many people said that it really just made...
No matter how much muscle mass you grind out at the gym, people will still find you obnoxious and repulsive because you never learned how to listen to other folks' lived experiences. Ugh, didn't ask. Imagine I'm flexing. I'm doing the Z's thing. I'm doing the Z's thing right now. Didn't ask. Ugh, you're fat. Oh, you're conventionally unattractive. I got big muscles.
her look extremely petty, and many people said that she just sounded like she was projecting. At the very least, it was fortunately amusing seeing her go all rage mode, though. Provided some decent entertainment for the day. So yeah, that's just some very quick context for anyone who may have missed the prior segment, although of course if you want to see my full take, consider watching that for yourself. But now with that context, let's move on to the aforementioned update. We've got Thomas Mahler here, saying, I'm the director behind both Ori games, and I don't know who you are.
He literally Omega lulled him! Oh my god! She got hooed! What an actual clown, man.
And how you were affiliated with Ori. In response to that Ray person saying, hey new folks, I'm Ray. I work in the gaming industry in UX R&D plus game production. I worked on various software and hardware for Xbox. I now work as an independent media producer and had the privilege of working on the Dota Internationals 2023 and other gaming media projects. But importantly for this context, the bottom left image showing Ori. Given the time...
Can I just mention the reason why he made this comment is probably because he was saying some dog shit misogynistic, misandrist shit about how no matter how much you work out, you're always going to be an obnoxious piece of shit. And then they see that they're associated with Ori or like X company and they wanted to investigate it themselves. That's why he's saying this. He's not hooing her because he's mean. She's just like saying a bunch of dog shit and spreading lies on the internet. Making his company look bad by association. That's normal.
Timing of how he's saying this now, I can only presume he just recently saw her unhinged rant.
Yeah.
Okay, so get this. As I'm looking at this conversation and recording this video, I see that she's actually just protected her entire Twitter account.
Yes!
That's going to make covering this a little bit more complicated because as you can see, it's also affecting her responses and we're now unable to see them. However, I've got a tab that has not yet refreshed. So while we won't be able to see all of her responses, we can at least see some of them. It looks like she responded to him saying, I worked with Xbox user research. I was the URA for global publishing during 2018 to 2020. Nice to meet you. I also worked on various other titles during my time there, but got a better job opportunity on the Xbox community.
So did you work on Ori or not, you dumb bitch? Why are you... What? Xbox user research? URA? User interface something? this. Xbox community team? I bet you she was one of those, like, you know, like a community manager for a forum or something? Just a bunch of yapping only to say nothing? Yep, pretty much.
Community team. You've got to be kidding me. Why do we see so many community managers or like community team people who are some of the most unhinged and like angry at everything? It's serious.
Because they don't take their meds and it's disproportionately like anecdotal at this point. The Godot community manager literally had tweets of them before they locked down their account. Asmongold's editor managed to find tweets of them having a mental breakdown 2 weeks before the whole Godot drama happened. That they were saying, oh, I'm not taking my meds because I'm feeling so bad, and if I take my meds, I feel bad anyway. Yeah, it's like, at least I'll feel a little bit normal for a bit if I take my meds. It was so crazy reading that, and then being like, this makes a lot of sense why they had a mental fucking breakdown.
Becoming a recurring theme. Anyways, that wasn't the only response that she made to him, because there's also this one where she said, oh, I have a question for you. Do you ever at any point feel Microsoft has shoved DEI expectations at you or pressured you? Now she's...
Man, this bitch has some attitude for talking to someone who is like the director. I have a question. Do you ever feel at any point Microsoft has shoved DEI expectations at you or pressured you? I don't know.
It reminded me of that Nat person from Godot, where after Asmongold gave a kind response, she then tried to get him in some sort of gotcha.
And then she deleted the tweet. I responded to it and she deleted it within like 5 hours. I responded to this tweet. She deleted it.
It's funny how these people don't realize that they're the ones acting all crazy, and they try and pretend like everyone else is the problem. Going back to the situation with Ray, Thomas responded to her, saying, well, that could explain it. I didn't want to cause you any trouble. I just saw you posting that you worked on Ori, and I had no idea who you are. Since you're calling people names online, I thought it was important to inform people that you never actually worked for Moon Studios, and that you didn't ever directly engage with anyone at Moon. Always be nice to people, Ray, even those you disagree with.
What a nice thing to say. He could have like ripped her a fat new one. And he's like, thumbs up. This is like the most like appropriate response ever.
While some people were amused by his response there, other people seem like they're extremely upset by it. It's
any game dev that supports grums ain't getting a cent out of me. Thanks for clearing that up. Little bro, he didn't even... The guy just responded to this bitch saying that she was working for his company and clarified that she doesn't. Be nice to the bigots. Oh my god. She's into marketing, implies that customers are wife beaters or clan members, while also seen using very vulgar language like suck my asshole. Oh shit, true, honestly.
It's amazing how upset these people are, simply because...
Yeah, she did say suck my asshole to a bunch of people on Twitter too.
Because this guy wanted to clarify that the woman who recently went viral for making a completely unhinged rant is not directly involved with his company. There's some other tweets that we're unable to see because Ray went into protected mode. However, we can also see that Thomas responded to these ones, saying, I thought the post was pretty clear and concise. By the way, you're not in the credits on any Ori games. So unless you changed your name at some point. Based off that context, we can presume that possibly Ray has an issue with the other response that Mahler made. And now, the most pathetic thing possible is
this is so funny, man. Unless you changed your name.
Happening. To no one's surprise, some of the corpo journalists from Kotaku are getting involved. Quote tweeting Mahler's response and posting this article from
Kotaku?
2022 from Kotaku that says, report, Ori Studio accused of being oppressive, sexist workplace. Developers say Moon Studios' no BS policy gave founders license to bully and demean.
That was literally untrue. I remember reading about it 2 years ago. This was before I started streaming. I remember looking into it. Because it was around about the same time as the Blizzard thing. Yeah, of course Kotaku writes about it. This was literally untrue. Yeah.
Since to bully
it was
and
a lie.
demean. Even
Straight
if any
up.
of the accusations in that article are actually true, It's really gross how these journalists, well, drag this stuff up 2 years later, using the alleged victims in the article as their own
Well, it's the same people that said Grums was one of the people that stole breast milk at Blizzard, and it was like an actual defamatory statement. And they said that he was like a sexual harasser. Yeah. Yeah, Grums never did that, and someone said that on Twitter, and it popped off, and people started sending him death threats. Like, again, I've said this before. I've had moments where I thought Grums was being a fucking moron. I thought that his takes were bad. But majority of the time, he's just providing, like information and evidence and adding his 2 cents. It's not that fucking deep, man.
Personal army. Though it is painting a very clear picture. None of the people angry with Mahler seem to have any responsive merit. They're either just like seething in their responses or reposting this. How?
Sorry, I was totally focused on the gameplay.
To have any responsive merit. They're either just like seething in their responses or reposting this. However, plenty of people would also further defend Mahler. For example, this response saying, "It's always the same untalented, useless, lazy, hate-filled people that come crawling out of the woodwork at any opportunity to try and drag someone successful down. I hope he's not stupid enough to fall for it. If they make good games, people will buy them." Madam Savvy.
True. Oh, it's Madam Savvy. I follow her on Twitter.
Saying, was it oppressive because he said no once in a while to someone? Given that she admits people don't get to choose how she represents them, I see no reason for anyone to take anything she says seriously.
Because she's a schizo that makes shit up for attention. Yeah, many such cases.
She referencing the Kotaku journalist. However, someone would respond to Savvy saying, "I mean, it's Kotaku, so take it with a grain of salt, but it's true. I think that's not a way to talk at the workplace, especially when you are CEO," including an image seemingly from the Kotaku article, to which Savvy responds saying, "This is the worst they have, that."
Oh my god, dude! Dude, when I worked in retail, I had a boss just straight up like back in like 2012. I got my one of my first jobs ever as like a teenager. It was normal, man. It wasn't like against you or anything. This is how gamers talk to each other, man. It's not that fucking deep. Nobody cares what you think, really, followed by Mahler. Lol, you're retarded. Though it's not clear who the remarks are directed at. Yeah, it's unclear. Could have been his, like, vice president or some shit. Mahler and concluded by typing, "I really need a woman." Yeah, women are great. What do you mean? Mahler talking like a gamer. I bet he makes good games. Yeah, it's crazy. Maybe we should all play Ori right now.
Really? Not only is there zero context,
where the women at?
But this is how people talk to each other when they're friends too. The "I really need a woman" remark is probably from a string of jokes being made. The other person retorts,
"I would laugh. If I worked with him, I'd laugh. I really need a woman." I'd be like, "No, you don't." She fucking yaps your face off. Distracts you from making video games.
Saying, "Sure, friends." But truth is, there is no friends at work. Especially if you're on the higher position than your supposed friends. Sure, not really a big deal, but still not a good look.
There's a difference between being work friends and being friend friends. I think you can be friends at work. I heard many stories of people that worked in like medical industry, like saying things like the nurse and the doctor became really good work friends. It doesn't translate to being besties. You can still have friends at work that you can trust or be really good, like in a really good dynamic between each other because you have fitting personalities. You can also have enemies at work and not fucking hate their guts and make them want to die. Yeah. I made friends at work. Yeah, it just depends. It depends.
And the current final response in this conversation here from Savvy saying, "People will value those words accordingly. If that's a red flag for you, that's totally okay. For me, it isn't. I'd actually hate to work at a place that didn't use that kind of language. You can still have corpo structure mixed with friend structure, just so long as you have respect for who's in charge at the end of the day." But
yeah, it's kind of like yeah, it's like being out in like the wilderness. It's like, yeah, you're still friends and you're surviving and trying to get something done, but in the end, there's always going to be like a team captain. You know what I'm saying? That's a bit of an analogy, but you know. Not being able to make friends at work is a schizo-terminally online take made by someone who's never had a job. Yep, that's another really good fucking point. I feel like these people don't interact in real life. Like, yes, you can't be friends with everyone. I totally get it. Sometimes you just don't click. Sometimes they're bitches. Sometimes that you have very differing like points of view on life. But like ultimately, there's always someone that you can find that has like good vibes.
Everyone views workplaces different. So you saw this part, which is some of the evidence that they're trying to use against Mahler. However, there's also a little bit more than that. In this next...
If someone called me retarded at work, I wouldn't care. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I'm desensitized to it because I played MMOs all my life. I genuinely could not give a fuck. Like, at all. I just don't care.
Section. They say that Mahler insisted on having the main character's origin story revolve around something very dark, and that allegedly Mahler wanted to do this to motivate the character to end up being a very cool character who does very cool things. And sure, that's a...
Wait, hold on. Let me read that again. Much darker compared to the Ori games. Codename Forsaken. Okay. Oh, it's a different game. Okay. At one point during the development process, Mahler insisted on having the main character's origin story revolved around, RAPE. This RAPE scene would supposedly create the motivation for the sweet, small-town character to do the badass things they do in the rest of the game. Yeah, didn't they do that in Berserk? Where Guts saw his waifu getting, you know, by Griffith? That was horrible. Yeah, Kill Bill, that's another really good example. Yeah, like, what the frig? Yeah, Casca, she's literally, like, brain dead for literally the entire, like, series. That's the whole point. It's one of the things that broke Guts. Apart from, like, you know, the thing as a child. Yeah, you're right. He actually had something just as bad happen to him. But it's probably, like, part of the character development. That's the whole point. Yeah.
And sure, that's a very dark...
That's like an origin story for a superhero, essentially. Like, bad things happen. What are we gonna remove Batman from having dead parents? Because they don't like the fact that the parents died for literally no reason. There's just a criminal that killed them. Like, why? What are we doing? It's real life. There have to be some parallels to real life in believable narratives for stories that make us feel invested in them. Maybe it's relatable. Maybe it's for brutality's sake. It's a brutal, dark thing that happened from the characters, so some glorification of it. Yeah, exactly. Like, what?
Dark and very terrible thing to happen to that character. It is just a character, though. And many characters throughout fiction have had equally bad or even worse things happen to them. I think we can confidently say that these journalists...
What about movies? We have to remove bad things happening there too? How boring would that be? It has to be motivations, man.
This would absolutely hate Berserk. And my gosh, I can only imagine what they'd say about my last Hearts of Iron 4 campaign. Anyways, it's pretty amusing how all of this started once again because Ray wanted to make that giant unhinged rant. She just really wanted to defend DEI. Gotta defend those DEI consultations.
Oh my god, 500k views, 2,200 likes. Uh-oh, that's not good. That's awful.
Firms. Go figure that all of this would attract gaming journalists to run to her defense. Hopefully Ray will have some self-reflection while she's protected on Twitter and
nobody is coming to save you. No incels are gonna band together to create an immaculately gate-kept industry for you. They kind of will by not buying your dog shit games. Yeah, that's kind of what's gonna happen. Sorry. Hate the bearer of bad news. Sorry! The customer's always right. It won't give you money and then you can't feed yourself and then you have to close down the studio.
Yeah. On Twitter and realized that all of this was really...
Aswin made a joke about the incels all being on his Reddit. It's true. I mean, it's Reddit and it's Aswin. Combined, it's like a superpower. Yeah, like raid-resistant cockroaches on Reddit.
unnecessary and unhinged, and you know, there's no reason to act like this trying to bootlick for these consultation firms and all that. Maybe she'll actually turn in.
And you know what the other funniest thing is? Bootlicking for free. You are guzzling glizzy for free for some random people that don't even know you exist, man. You're sucking like a big fat meaty dick for free. You're the same people that defend Xbox for like fucking over customers, but like you're still buying their games, and you're like, yeah, if Xbox sees me saying this, then I'm gonna look good in their eyes. It's like, little bro, nobody's gonna see your Twitter post about how much you love Xbox, despite them increasing the subscription price for Xbox, whatever, Microsoft Live, or I don't fucking know.
Turn it. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments.
That's crazy.
And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed my coverage, please also consider liking and or subscribing to the channel.
Sony fanboys,
and I'll see you in the next one.
Yay! That was good. That was a great one. That was good. Chat, check them out. Hero, hey. Very nice. That footage was distracting though. I'm shooting people.